Hi, and welcome back to another Rise video. Today we're going to be looking at creating another character. As you know, this is Rise, the tabletop RPG that I have been developing on my own. If you're interested in this stuff, please subscribe and check out the rest of these videos. Otherwise, let's jump right into creating a new character based off of a concept. So let's take a look at, here we go. So here's our screen that we've been working with so far in the last few videos. As you know, I like to start with a picture as the concept of a character. You don't have to start with a picture when you do it yourself, but it really helps me visualize and come up with something. All right, so the picture I wanted to go with is, boom, look at this lady. Dang, she's scary. She's got the black and the cape and wow. Okay, I don't really know how to describe it, but when I look at this lady, I'm thinking, okay, I see two races primarily that are represented here. I see the Vata race, which is kind of like the elves, and I see this Gargan race, which is kind of like the Goliaths from D&D. So we're actually going to make what I've been calling a halfling or a mixed race character. I know in D&D halfling means something else, but for Rise, halfling means a character from two races. Before we come up with the race, though, we do have to come up with our starting attribute scores. That would be that endurance, strength, accuracy, dexterity on the left-hand side there. And once again, I am thinking that we're just going to go off of the first option for how to select your attribute scores. That's where you get a bunch of preset numbers, and you get to choose where you want those numbers to go. So we have 1 3, we have 3 2s, 3 1s, and 2 0s that we need to place around here. And I'm thinking, looking at this lady, she looks kind of like this assassin type character, and I'm actually thinking, I'm not seeing a lot of armor being worn by her. I think dexterity is going to be her primary stat here, followed by I'm going to give her an accuracy so that she can be able to hit things. Then I think for sure perception, and probably strength so that she can deal some good amount of damage. After that, for our ones, I'm thinking we put, she doesn't scream charisma to me. She seems like the kind of person who's not about to welcome talking to you a bunch. But she does have some kind of, spell-like thing going on here. I'm trying to figure out where to put our ones. I think for sure we're going to put a 1 in, wisdom. I feel like she should have some wisdom here. I'm thinking also we want to put 1 in heart. And I'm not sure about intelligence. I think she might have the kind of spells that would be more akin to illusion or something. I'm not sure if she's got any damaging spells. So I don't think about intelligence. Maybe just that endurance, just a little bit in endurance here. Okay, so now we know we can put in our race. We already decided she is going to be a halfling, and based off of the Vata / Gargan. There we go. Those are her two races. And so now we can take a look at how Halfling Vata Gargan is going to influence her starting attributes as well as her ability points. So we need to come up with first an average of the Vata and Gargan's HP, speed, and MP. And if we get a number in between, we'll always round up. So I will actually do those averages on my own. Actually, I'll read off at least what they should be. So the Vata would have a starting HP of 12, where the Gargan has a starting HP of 21. So that's a huge difference. So we're going to balance in the middle. The speeds are pretty similar with a 3 and a 3.5. And the MP is 8 and 12. So I can already know that one's going to end up with 10 MP. So I'll come up with these averages, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, oops, I put it on the wrong screen. I just realized I've been doing everything on the wrong screen. So let me fix that, and I'll come right back. Sorry about that. Okay, it is fixed now. So as you can see, now we have our attribute scores on there. I'm sorry, I was typing those in the wrong spot. When we have our HP of 17, our speed of 3.5, and the MP of 10. These are actually some pretty high starting values. Not significantly higher than most races, but that mix of these two races I think is very powerful. In addition, we need to, for the halfling, give ourselves our attribute bonuses. So I know the halfling gets a +1 to charisma, actually, which might be surprising to you, but they have to navigate multiple different, ways of life and cultures and things like that. So they have a little bit of charisma. They're going to get a few times where I'll roll on the halfling table, then I roll on the Vata table, and then I roll on the Gargan table. And you might be thinking, wow, halflings are super broken. Why wouldn't you play a halfling? And so the downsides of playing a halfling are less on the character sheet and would be more on when you're actually playing the game and role-playing things, where your character doesn't really belong to any one race in particular. And so you might be on the receiving end of maybe some lack of people trusting you, or maybe not trust, but just a sense of belonging. So we're going to roll once on the halfling table, and I get a 9. So that is any kind of accuracy focus. And I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get a focus in our light weapons. Light weapons, for sure. That was a good pickup. So now she's going to be better with using these scary-looking dagger things. Although those might be long enough to call them short swords. So now we're going to roll on the Vata table and on the Gargan table. I'll do the Gargan table first. That's what I saw first. And I get a 9 again. And this one is any strength focus. All right, so I'm going to come up with a strength focus, and I'll be right back. Okay, I looked at it for like 1 second, and I was like, okay, obviously this is the focus we're going to go with. This is intimidation. She is freaking scary, man. I would be so intimidated if I saw this person walking up to me in the street. Not only that, but like those eyes are scary. Okay, and then finally we get to roll on our Vata table. And we are going to get, I wonder if we're going to get a 9 again. No, this time we get a 4, which is any kind of wisdom focus, actually. And I think this might be really interesting for us. I'm actually going to take probably an illusion. You might be like, why does she want illusion? I think this person is going to end up being able to use, I don't know, some kind of, blending of the light to help her, sneak or be dexterous, or maybe even invisibility at some point. I mean, she's got this like shadowy aura around her, maybe even some shadow spells. So we'll figure that out in just a minute. Okay, so next up, I believe we want to pick a background so that we can have our starting information about this character, as well as how many credits they're going to start with. Again, with the backgrounds for us making a level 5 character, I take that starting credits or that gold or money that they start with, and I multiply it by 5. Just to, give us some starting gear to work with. So I'll pick a background for this character, and I'll be right back. All right, so this one might be a little interesting, but I think Smuggler is what I'm going to go with. Now, I don't think that she looks currently like a smuggler, but I imagine, okay, this person was probably raised on the streets, picked up by people, maybe in a gang, I don't know. I literally have no idea about this person's background. We don't even have a name for them yet. But I'm imagining maybe they got involved with smuggling things into maybe a city or out of cities before they turned down this like path of assassination or something. Really, that's where they perfected some of their sneaking skills. And as the smuggler, they get starting credits of 120. So we'll multiply that by 5 in just a minute. But they also are going to get the focus called Smuggle Buddies. Oh, you love this, don't you? Smuggle Buddies. And that is worth 3 DP. And what this does, when they're in stealth or sneaking, if they're in physical contact with another player, that player can replace their stealth test with her stealth test. So her stealth test can apply to an additional character that she's physically touching or sneaking or smuggling with her smuggle buddy, of course. So our starting gold there is 120 times 5, which should be 600. I just did some double checking on my calculator. I can do math, but I just want to make sure I double check before I get everybody yelling at me about doing math wrong. So we have starting credits of 600, so I'm going to come up with some gear to give her, some weapons. For sure, we're going to have 2 weapons here, and then we'll be right back. So the first thing that we're going to have her pick up is two deadly steel short swords. So a short sword normally costs 20 credits. Making it a steel short sword doubles that to 40 credits, and then making it deadly multiplies that number by 5. Deadly increases the damage by +2, whereas steel increases it by +1. So she's going to get a total of +3 damage from each of these short swords, but each one costs 200 credits. So that is going to slash the amount of credits down from 600 down to 200. Yeah, that was a lot. We just spent almost, we just like literally 2/3 of our budget just on these short swords here. But I think the rest of what she's going to want is not going to be as expensive, because I'm looking at this and maybe this is leather armor, but it's looking a little bit more just like cloth armor to me. I mean, and she's not wearing a lot of it. So I'm going to kind of actually just go with calling this cloth armor. You might disagree with me, but hey, whatever. And that only costs 20, so we got 180 credits left. And let's decide what we're going to do with the rest of that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I added 5 lockpicks for her, each lockpick being 10 credits. And I actually decided to give her reinforced cloth armor, because it does seem to be a little bit more like reinforced around the chest area. There's just like a lot of straps. Again, I don't really know what that's made of, but to me, I mean, it could be leather, but she, again, not wearing a lot, but we're going to call that cloth. Reinforced gives her a resistance towards being targeted in her like vital areas. Right, so we're going to give her that reinforced cloth armor and probably stop there with, we got 50 credits left. I don't know what she wants to spend it on. There's not a lot that's 50 credits, so we'll just leave it at that. In terms of her defense, so defense is equal to 10 plus the character's dexterity, so we're looking at 13 total defense right now. Her physical armor, again, is going to be not very high, just that cloth armor, only 1, I think. So, not so great, sorry. So 1 and then 0 arcane armor. So we'll leave it at that. So next, we need to start spending these level up points. So we'll be looking at how to spend these points. I've got a feeling already we're going to go with sort of a duelist, dual wielding, as well as an assassin character here. And then perhaps we'll start, this could be a potentially, morally gray, even evil character. So we might go with some of those more nasty, nefarious things here with either the shade or something else. So let me think about this for a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to start by giving her some specializations. We're going to take a handful of specializations right now. We're going to do rank 1 of the assassin. And at rank 1, the assassin allows her to, when sneak attacking any target with a light weapon, she deals double damage. Boom, this is so good, right? So now, anytime she's able to get that sneak attack off while she's attacking a target, which she can't do while the target's engaged in combat, but if she's able to sneak up on them and get that first hit in, she's doing double damage. Second, we're going to give her the duelist rank 1. And this allows her to make a second attack, a minor action attack with her second offhand weapon. So normally you can only make attacks with major actions, so she'd only be able to attack once per turn. But now if it's her turn, as long as she doesn't want to do something else, she can make a major attack with one short sword, a minor attack with another short sword, and still have some movement to do something. And then finally, Shade rank 3, and this is going to kind of bring us to this. We're learning more about this character, and she is a little bit bad. Bad to the bone, you know what they say. Anyway, so she's killed people, like potentially not just bad people, but she's like she's murdered people, potentially innocent people. So now at rank 1 as a Shade, anytime she's sneak attacking someone, she deals penetrating damage to them, so ignores their armor. 2, when she's in absolute darkness, she gains +2 to her dexterity stealth tests. So as long as it's perfectly dark, she's sneaking really good, and she gains the ability to see in the dark to some range if she can't not already, which she didn't have that ability. And then finally, she learns the illusion spell, Shadow Slip. This is a pretty good spell. This allows her as a minor action, let me write that in, Shadow Slip spell. As a minor action, she can slide, kind of dematerialize and move into the shadows and move up to 50 meters in any direction as long as she can, there's shadows to guide her. So this really benefits her, especially with moving around unseen. And all of that costs us 15 points right there. So that's going to bring us from that 44 down to 29. Next, we definitely are going to want to put some points here into HP, speed, and MP. Shadow Slip costs 6 MP, so I'm kind of thinking we might want to put 4 points into MP just to get up to 18 so she can use it 3 times at least per day. So that's 4 points, so that'll bring us down to 25, so we have 18 MP now. We're going to want to put some points into HP, probably at least 5 points into HP, bringing us from 25 to 20. 5 points into HP, that's worth 15 HP, so that'll bring us to 32 here. And then finally, I'll put at least, I think, 3 points into speed. Maybe more, but we can Shadow Slip, so she doesn't need it too much. And each point you put into speed gives you half a movement speed, so that'll bring us up to 5 movement speed. And we only have 17 points left, so we're really struggling here with where to put these points. We put so many into those specializations. There's just a lot of things that I want to do with this character, and I wish we could start with a higher level. So for sure, we need to get a stealth focus, a dexterity stealth. So getting a level 1 of that focus is going to cost us 1 point, but I think we should at least get level 2 into it. 3 is max, but that'll bring us down to 3 points to 14 to get a 2 stealth focus. So now we have 14 points left. I'm going to look at the class table and decide some of the things that we want to pick up. Okay, so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to increase our wisdom from 1 to 2. That's going to cost us 2 points there, bringing us to 12. That just gets us a little bit better at our illusion spells and anything else wisdom related. We're also going to take the ability Pierce Armor, the stunt Pierce Armor. So this allows us to, if we have 2 doubles points, ignore half of the opponent's armor when we make attacks. Pierce Armor, which is worth 2 DP. And that's also going to cost us only 1 point there, so that's pretty good. So we still have 11 points. I think we're going to pick up the dexterity ability, Speedy. Might run out of room over here. Speedy, that's only 1 point. So it lets us stand up or go prone by only expending half of our movement action instead of our full movement action. And I think we're also going to want to pick up the stunt Disengage, if we have room for it. I think we do. Disengage, which is costs us 3 double points, 3 DP. And this one, if we're currently engaged in combat with a target, if we want to run away or get out of there, normally the opponent would get the opportunity to make an attack of opportunity. They get to attack us even though it's not their turn if we try to leave combat. But if we get 3 doubles points, we can move away from that target without suffering from that attack of opportunity. So that one costs us, I think, 2 points there. So that's 8 points left. I think we want to pick up a couple more points in our attributes. I'm thinking we're going to pick up a point in maybe just the light weapons focus to bring that up to 2. So that'll cost us 2 more points for 6. And actually, now that I think about it, we should take weapons training. So what this is only going to cost us 1 point. And where am I going to find room to fit all this? I'm going to have to make all this text a little bit smaller here in our points. So we can fit weapons training. Weapons training. So this gives us a bonus damage, actually, to It doesn't quite fit in there, does it? So we'll still make it a little bit smaller again. This gives us bonus damage whenever we have the focus for that type of weapon. So since we have the light weapons focus at 2, that gives us +2 damage anytime we attack. So that's really good. And weapons training is actually only 1 point. Definitely something that most characters should pick up because it's only 1 point. We have 5 points left. For sure, I think we should take another point in dexterity. That is going to bring us to 4 dexterity. That costs 4 points. We have 1 point left, which does give us 14 defense. And with that final point, we're going to have to take something. I'm going to look through the list of what we can take, and I'll be right back. So thinking about the final point where we wanted to spend, I think we should put that as an initiative focus, so that we get a little bit bonus to, whenever combat starts, we're able to get off what we're trying to do a little bit better. So with that, I think we can get rid of the rest of these focuses here. We've now spent all of our points. So we want to, that initiative lets us just move before more of our opponents in combat once we start that. So the only things left, I think we need to come up with an archetype for the personality and a name for this character. Be right back. So the archetype we're going to go with for this character is the executive. Some things about the executive strengths: they're dedicated, strong-willed, direct, and highly organized. Some of the weaknesses being inflexibility, being uncomfortable with really unconventional situations. It's difficult for them to relax, and they're not very empathetic. I think this fits his character pretty well. And then finally, coming up with a name for this character. Man, I'm wondering what to name this character, and I'm going to take a look at some resources, and I'll be right back with a name. Okay, for a name, I think maybe a halfling character might not even have a last name, especially because many Gargans also don't have last names. So we're going to go with Kiratha of the Black Blade. I think that's cool. Maybe she was like an orphan at some point or whatever. So she just kind of has a first name and then this title of the Black Blade. I think that sounds really cool. So here is our character. We're done today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing more of this content, please make sure you subscribe. If you have an idea for a character concept, I'd love for you guys to leave suggestions in the comments below. Otherwise, if you liked the video, click the like button so you can you make sure my content gets suggested to other people. Again, the idea is that soon I will have this to be able to be shared with everybody. If you're interested also in watching me do this live, like on a stream or something, where I'll have the other screen up so you can actually see and work along with me, and we can more so make the characters together, leave that suggestion in the comments below. That would very much let me know that that's what you guys wanted to see. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Rise, and my name's Alex. Bye-bye.